Okay. All right, I think it's recording. All right, hold on. Jason, can you get the kids in bed, please? Okay, so yeah, I really wanted to do this call because after I went to Summit, I heard some really good coaches there talking about sharing their story, because I know that's like been a big struggle for me. Well, I think it's a struggle for a lot of people, but like when you're trying to really share your story with other people and sort of do it in a way that's not like Beachbody, Beachbody, Beachbody all the time. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. All right, first of all, congratulations, Amanda. Emerald coach. You just went Emerald this week, so
congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, hold on. Jason, the front door is open and sugar escaped. Sorry, my dog just ran out the front door.
Oh no.
Okay. So congratulations. That's awesome. So you signed up. I think I saw, is it like your sister? You have your sister and a friend or something? I'm sorry. Hold on. I think one of my kids is outside. No. Jesus. Okay, awesome. So sorry, what'd you say? You got your sister, or was it sister? Mom?
I think Amanda keeps freezing.
Okay. Oh, there she is.
Yeah, I just came back right now.
Here you go. So congratulations anyway, regardless, but you're doing awesome. So your posts have been great. All right. And Success Club. You're going to have to talk to Daddy, okay?
Come on.
Jason, just put them in the bedroom. Okay, so Amanda is winning, obviously, the month. She has 9. This was as of yesterday, so if anybody got any more today, I didn't see it. So awesome, everybody. Becky and Amanda, 2 of the highest ones, and you're both here. So very good. All right, so sharing your story. So I'm sure if you guys follow like any of the coaches, like kind of the top coaches on Beachbody, you know that they kind of like keep coming back to sort of this story of how they got into Beachbody and into coaching, and they kind of try and weave that into everything that they're doing. So there's kind of 3 main, like when I went to Summit, Lindsay Matway talked about this a lot. She said there's sort of like 3 main points when you're thinking about your story. Because your story can really be anything, but when people are trying to think about like, well, okay, I was never, I don't have like this sob story, I don't have, I wasn't, maybe some people have been like alcoholics and then they found Beachbody, or they've had like a really big transformation, they found Beachbody, but it doesn't have to be really extreme. You can find out like what your story is, no matter what it is, like if it's being a mom or a postpartum, whatever it is. But one of the 3 things that Lindsay brought up was like financial, like maybe you live paycheck to paycheck, or maybe Beachbody has been like a huge blessing in your life because of the financial part of it. Maybe it's been physical, so maybe you started doing this because you wanted to feel better about your body. So you had some type of a transformation. Maybe you were watching other people and that's kind of what made you get to that. Maybe it was an emotional thing. Maybe you've struggled with self-confidence or depression or anything, and just kind of wanted to find like your tribe and your niche. So kind of trying to figure out like what that is. And it doesn't have to be any of these 3. These are kind of just the 3 main ones. But always remembering that people can buy the product anywhere. And I'm sure you've run into that of people saying, well, yeah, I got it. I just had one yesterday tell me that she bought Pio on eBay. So eBay, Amazon, all of those things. But so they can buy it anywhere, but they're coming to you because of how you connect to them. Okay, and then finding your voice. This is something that, everybody, I think you've seen it in some of like the Ring to the Bank and some of that stuff, is finding out like who you are and who you want to connect to. So for me, finding my voice, I'm a working mom. I'm an artist. I'm a daydreamer. I have a semi-crunchy parenting style. So I like, I use essential oils. I cloth diapered for maybe 6 months and then I was over it. I like buy organic sometimes and I'm like, but then I'll go and, have cheese curds or whatever. But I kind of like waver, but I think that's sort of fun. So I always say I'm like semi-crunchy. I talk a lot about my faith because that's really important to me. I'm big into Amazon Prime. Right after I said people are buying like programs off Amazon, but I love Amazon Prime and Etsy. I'm an introvert, which I didn't actually think I was. I thought like all of high school that I was this extrovert, like really outgoing personality. And then I realized after reading that book, Quiet, by Susan Cain, that I'm actually an introvert. But you can actually be an introvert but have extroverted tendencies, but just be really comfortable like staying at home in your pajamas and not doing anything, like not going out and just like comfortable. And that's totally me. So that's why like Beachbody has also been really great because, I can do it all from like sort of behind the screen and on the computer and connecting with people that way. I love coffee and I love my family. So that's kind of like, that's sort of me and some of the things that, if you think about the more that you can tell your story, if you kind of write down like what are your main things that are important to you that you think that you could really connect to people with, that's what you want to be posting about so that it doesn't always have to be what you're doing, what workout you're doing, what food you're eating, what flavor Shakeology you're drinking that day. It can be about other things because people are going to be watching you and noticing you, and they'll notice all of the other stuff you're doing with fitness, but what are these tendencies that you have that can really connect you to your market? And that's how you're going to grow, and that's how you're going to expand. Okay, so you all know Bonnie, probably. I love Bonnie. I've only met her one time, but she's like so great. So Bonnie's like known for her selfies, of course. And what I like about Bonnie's voice, I'm just kind of showing a couple coaches here that you're probably familiar with, but showing sort of how they like, and this is an example of, she's talking about being up early, going to the chiropractor, and then bringing it back to a job that she used to have, working full time. And then at the very end says something. Obviously, whoever said that, whoever made that saying never met a Beachbody coach because we make our own hours. So, that's just an example. I mean, her posts are like great. And every time you read them, you're like, okay, why didn't I think of that? And, but yeah, she does a really great job in talking about like other things and then sort of weaving in the Beachbody part of it in a way that's not just all about Beachbody, but in a way that other people can connect to. Because then other people can say, well, yeah, I mean, I used to wake up at 3:30 a.m. to catch the train to get to my job, to then work 10 hours, and then come home and be exhausted. Like, yeah, I can totally relate to that. So she's an example. And Caleb Thomas, I met him too. So he's really great. So he, I think both of you maybe follow him. I know Becky does. And he's really awesome because he has this dog, Sheila, and she's like in all of his pictures. He doesn't have any kids, I don't think, he's not married. But his pictures are like Sheila kind of is his kid. And so she's always like doing these funny poses, or she's in the background photobombing or doing something. And it's really, he's really consistent with that. And then this was a really great post that he did about his grandpa and planting flowers and, waiting for seeds to grow, and then brought in about being a Beachbody coach. And kind of, he didn't even have like an invite in there at the end. It was more about just what it was that he was doing, why he loved it, and then a reminder to people to not give up on themselves. So it's sort of just this little like, boost of encouragement, which is what we want to do as coaches to people. And then, I don't know exactly where he lives, but he's always like putting pictures of being outdoors and out in cabins and all this land. And so you kind of start, and he does videos. He does a lot of YouTube videos. So you start to kind of see like his brand through that stuff and what he's consistent with. And then Katie Ersta, I don't know if you guys follow her. She's she's One Fit Fighter. So she was diagnosed with cancer maybe a year ago, and so I got to hear her speak at Summit, and she was really great. Like her whole thing is like sweating, or every sweat matters, and like sweating for those who can't sweat, and how when she was like sick and going through chemo, how people were like working out for her, and so that was they were like doing a workout for Katie and doing this, and so that was kind of like what helped keep her going. And so a lot of what she does relates back to the cancer community. It relates back to her fight. She's in remission now, but she's still like fighting. And so she has kind of her brand built around that. But, even like this post that she did about her socks, and how the socks like mean so much to her because of the workouts and because of what she had to go through doing those workouts and being sick and not being able to do the workouts. And, that was just a really great post in a way that doesn't say it. She doesn't mention anything about Beachbody in there, but it's a way to remind people that it's more than just a workout program. Keel is laying in the crib with Jack. Okay. All right. So staying the course. So yeah, part of of sharing your story and something that is kind of hard to do. And I think you guys probably get like this, where you're like, you have an idea for a post and you're like, I have to do it right now. And you have to say everything and you have to do it. And then all of a sudden your post is like really long or like, you're not even sure what you were even talking about. But you want to say it all right there because that's like what you're thinking of in the moment. So, one thing that is important to keep doing is breadcrumbing, which is sharing small pieces of your story along the way to keep people more engaged and wanting to know more and want to keep coming back. Because and you'll notice like Lindsay Matway and the top coaches do it every now and then, like kind of tell their whole story for the people, like their new followers and the new people that are like just coming on board and just seeing, so they don't have to go back and like find it. And they do kind of more of like another welcome post like every couple of months, like, oh, if you're just coming across this is my story. So, but in the meantime, when they're doing their smaller posts, they kind of throw back to us like one small snippet of something from the past or something that happened and why they're doing something now. And so just kind of, your story can like continue through a variety of posts and months and years, but it can just be pieces of it. And you can even repeat it. You'll notice that in some of the people, if the people that you follow, it's like they're saying the same thing, but they're just doing it in a different way. And creativity. So everybody can be creative. I know sometimes we all think like, especially when you're like following, your feed is just Beachbody coaches, which for me is like, it's mostly Beachbody coaches that I'm following. And so then also you think like, well, gosh, this is all I see. This is all everybody's seeing. But for most of you, you're probably like one of only a couple, if any, Beachbody coaches in their circle of friends. Like when I became a coach, nobody in my circle of friends or family like even knew what Beachbody was. And so you can't think of it like, well, everybody's seeing that, because they're not. You are, because you're following all of those people. So how can you share something from your story in a way that is interesting and not just, a picture of your Shakeology, which we've done. I've done it. We've all done it. But how can you do it in a way that people are going to say, well, so what? And that's what Katie Ersta had said too, is like, what you need to think of the so what factor. People need to look at your post and say, so what, and have it be important to them. So one of the things that I just heard about in a call with Amy Silverman was she had a best friend who, was really supportive. They've been best friends for a long time. And she, Amy was like posting all about fitness and working out and eating healthy. And this was like her skinny friend who like wouldn't gain weight or could eat burgers and like not gain any weight and all this stuff. And she finally had said to Amy, I can't relate to anything that you're putting on here. I support you in what you're doing, but I don't relate to it at all. So if you think about it in the way that not everybody wants to hear about fitness and coaching, So how can you connect in other ways to them? Like, how can you connect so if you think about your story being like a mom or a working mom or a stay-at-home mom, like how can you connect to other people who are doing that exact same thing in your posts and keep it interesting and keep it relevant and keep it important to them? And then talk about things. So weaving is another thing that I've heard other coaches talk about too, and that's talking about things without actually talking about them. So when, Amy had said how she talked about how she healed her body from the inside out, and she had chronic acne for like a lot of years. And after starting her like clean eating and Shakeology, that all started to go away. Well, when she posted about it, she didn't mention anything about like the Shakeology one bit. She just talked about other ways that her body had healed that caused that to happen. All this thing that she'd been dealing with for so many years to go away. So think about ways that you can like weave in little parts about a workout or something you're eating or a new recipe or something like that without actually saying Beachbody, Shakeology, 21-day fix, things like that, which is all fine to actually bring those up because, you want people to know what you're doing, but you don't want it to be every single post to be about that. So post with purpose. You want to think about your posts. You want to think about what it can do for other people. Can it inspire? You want to share ideas. You want to share motivation, struggles, triumphs. If you do talk about anything negative, like struggles that you're having, always end it with a positive. Always. We're positive people. That's kind of the whole purpose of Beachbody, but that doesn't mean that we don't struggle. And I think like when I posted, I did that post the other day about forgetting Emma's lunch, like forgetting to make her a lunch for school. At work, I had like 10 people say to me like, oh, thank God you posted something about that because you're always, you're like super mom with everything you post. So I think it's sort of, you always have to remember like Facebook is your highlight reel of real life and what's going on. You're sharing mostly like the good and what's happening, but you also want to be vulnerable for certain things because, sometimes people tend to look, and it was kind of like my post today, like people will look at things and they'll feel jealousy or they'll feel something like, well, I mean, her life is perfect because she's got all this stuff going on for her. But when you can say, well, this is something that I struggled with this week, or this is something that was hard for me to do today, or, my life is crazy because, the kids are running around naked and the house is a mess and all this. When you can actually be real with people, that's another way to like help the connection. And that's the more that they'll stick around and say, okay, all right, so they're not like totally perfect. I can totally relate to them. And then you want to be you. So don't copy what the top coaches are doing. It's hard, like seeing all of that stuff and thinking, okay, well, they're getting like tons of likes, they're getting tons of comments. And then, I mean, I'm sure you've all had this. You post something and then you like check back and you're like, oh, how many people liked it? Oh my God, it's been 2 hours. I've only had like 2 likes. Like this is like so embarrassing, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like Bonnie and Lindsay, like they post screenshots of their stuff from like a year, Lindsay, maybe like 4 years ago, but like Bonnie, like a year ago. And she had like 6 likes on a post, 4 comments, whatever. So it doesn't matter. It's just about being consistent and about being yourself. And once you start like actually being sharing from the heart and speaking from the heart, you're going to find that it comes a lot more naturally, and you won't have to sit in front of the computer or sit in front of your phone and think like, okay, well, I just took that picture, but what do I say about it? Or how do I like, I know I have to post something because I've only posted 1 time today. I need to have another post in. What am I going to say? You won't even have to think about it, and it'll come a lot easier. And then find out, so if you do follow the top coaches and there are certain things about them like that you like, certain posts that you like I end up taking screenshots of some of the ones if I'm like, oh, that was a great way that she talked about her finances. I really like that. So I'll like take screenshots and I'll save them all in a folder so that I have them. And then if you find like things about them that you like, what about that do you like? Like, why was that important to you? And why did you pull it? So when I start, like, I have all these screenshots, and when I look through them, I can kind of start to see this like pattern of the ones that I'm pulling, and like why it's resonating with me and why it's speaking to me. So you can kind of take little parts of that and the way that they do it and sort of like slip it into how you do it, but still having it be from you. And so another thing, actually, one of my success partners had posted something about this that she just started doing this week. Was she was going through Facebook and finding other non-coach people to follow on Facebook. So like different authors or motivational speakers, like maybe some chefs, other like maybe moms that are like known bloggers, like known on the internet, things like that. People that they have a brand, but they aren't necessarily, I mean, they're not coaches, but they do posts and things like that sort of in the same way that we do as Beachbody coaches. Like they want to connect with people and they want to inspire people and encourage people. So when you start following some of those types of people, it's nice to have a little bit of a break from kind of all the Beachbody jargon that you see all the time. And then lastly, don't take it personal. Haters gonna hate, and not everybody will support you. And you just need to get over it. And it's hard at first, especially if it's like family or it's people that you want to be supporting you and that you think that should, because you have to know that a lot of times what they're saying it's coming from insecurities that they have with themselves. And so it's not personal. It's just them and it's not you. So just focus on you being consistent. And you know, a lot of times they want to see, like, you know, I have people that I haven't talked to in a year and are like, or, you know, 6 months. And then they just like, I'm going to say, oh, you're still doing that Beachbody thing. Or, oh yeah, I've seen your coaching post. I didn't know you're still doing that. And it's like, well, yeah, I'm still doing it. And so, and now when I talk to people, since I've been consistent, I've been doing it, I don't even have to bring up the coaching. That's like something that they bring up to me. And so you kind of like just get in this pattern of doing it that people will come to think of Beachbody coach and you in the same sentence. Because I can tell you, like, one of the worst things is like, oh, and also I didn't mention, but make sure your posts that you're doing are also posts about you throw in the coaching posts every now and then, because I didn't do it enough at the beginning that I was a coach and actually what being a coach meant. And I had so many people that just were like, oh, I was so inspired by you. I went on Amazon and I bought the 21 Day Fix and I bought PIO. And I mean, I had that happen with like probably 8 to 10 people. And I was talking about it with Becca, and she's like, you need to do more coaching posts. You need to post about being a coach and what it is and what it means, you know, what it means to you. Because some people are just like, they just don't realize it, and they don't do it to be unkind. They just do it because they don't know any better. And so it's our job to educate them on what it is, because they won't know. And I mean, I went back and I looked at my old conversations with Becca on Facebook. And like, when I was talking to her and she was like explaining to me I didn't even know that like this was something she did and she like made money from it. Like, I was just like, well, I just want to look good after a baby like you did. So tell me how to do it. Okay. So, stop the windshield wipers. Stop looking left to right at what everybody else is doing. And this is something that, I don't know, August has been a tough month for a lot of people just because it's like been back to school, and it's just been like, you haven't had that excitement from people of like wanting to do something for them. They've just kind of been coming off of summer. And so I feel like I've just been looking at it. For me, I mean, for a lot of people a lot of my success partners, it's like, we're just looking sort of at what other people are doing. I mean, I had a week that I was really busy and my posts fell way down, and all I was doing was looking at other people's and thinking, well, I can't post anything because everything everybody else posts is too good. And so you just got to put your blinders on and you got to look straight ahead. Stop comparing. And so I use Chrome now, Google Chrome, and I installed the app to kill the newsfeed not the app, the plugin, kill newsfeed. So it will kill your Facebook newsfeed. So you don't see anything. You can just go in there and go to your groups. You can go to your page. You can go to your, check in with your groups and do whatever, but you don't scroll because you get stuck in like the scrolling and you'll scroll and scroll and scroll. And then all of a sudden it's been 30 minutes and you're like, well, why did I even come on here? So yes, stop comparing. So remember, share from the heart, make it purposeful. Done is better than perfect. I can't tell you how many times I would sit at the computer and I would spend like 2 hours or whatever just trying to think of stuff or edit something and do it. No, don't do that. Just put it up, say what you need to say. And I mean, if you do that and you do it quick without thinking about it too much, it'll actually probably be more from the heart than you overthinking it. And then lastly, you are your brand. So just remember that that's one of the most important things. And by being consistent, finding your niche and really figuring out like what your voice is, that's going to end up making your brand without you even having to think about it. And then one thing that I think Robert said this, but Lindsay said it again at Summit too, was make your mess your message. So if you think that your life is crazy and your kids are a handful, then and it's messy, then make it your message. Your story matters, and it will touch. It doesn't matter if you have people that don't know why you're doing it. You're going to have people that come to you and say, well, I'm really glad that you posted that or that you said that thing because that mattered to me. So your story matters. All right, let me stop here. All right.